Hi guys, and welcome to the 9th and final episode of my Headphone Zone unboxing. Today I'm talking about a behind the scenes rockstar that's made all these reviews possible with all the IEMs that I've tested over the last few episodes. And that is the little DAC amp I've used to drive them, which is the Shanling UA1 Pro. Although small and unassuming, this little DAC amp has been put together really well. It's made out of aluminium and has been electroplated, so the color looks like a matte pearlescent finish. This has a USB-C connector on one end and the other is a 3.5mm female connector to plug your earphones or headphones into. The little bit of cable here is braided and feels like it won't give up unless intentionally cut. There are no buttons or controllers on this. It just bypasses your phone or computer's internal DAC amp and provides significantly better audio than what your internal hardware will provide. This supports high-resolution audio playback up to 384 kHz at 32 bits, and it also supports DSD files up to DSD 256. Its output stage pushes out 80 milliwatts at 32 ohms, which is more than enough to push any low resistance IEMs. Having listened to this little DAC amp over all these days with these multiple IEMs, I can honestly say I didn't really notice any noise floor with these. Now I did switch between this DAC amp and my iPad because that's the one device I have with the headphone cable out. And I can certainly say that the output of this was definitely more lively compared to the iPad. The iPad did sound very thin. There was no fun listening to any of these IEMs with that. This one's internal circuitry, its hardware is certainly better than that of the iPad. There's one funny thing I did notice whenever I was plugged into the DAC, which was connected to my phone, especially if the earphones had a control module with volume up, down and answer end calls. When you plug into this DAC amp, it seems to bypass that. So you can't use the volume up and down, at least on my phone, and the answer end calls or play pause did not work. So I had to handle all these controls from within the phone. The module is completely bypassed. Now this is not such a big issue. You can of course control these things from your phone. It is not a deal breaker, at least for me, but it's worthwhile knowing this before you consider buying this. So to sum up, when it comes to the build, it is beautifully put together. Even the little fine print on the device is very neatly done. One thing I really did like with this, in fact, I think most of you are going to find it a bit weird that I found this interesting, is the body is made out of a metal. I think it's aluminium. And the thing is, when you plug it in, initially it's cold to the touch because it is a metal. Over time, when you listen to more audio, give it about 5-10 minutes, this body tends to heat up a bit. And now I find that really fascinating that such a little gadget with a tiny little chip inside does generate enough heat to make the metal feel a bit warm. And to me, at the back of my head, I'm just thinking that, you know, it's like other audiophile grade hardware. If you're listening to a desktop amp, or if you're listening to a powerful stereo amp, these things tend to heat up whenever they're doing their work, whenever they're performing. And to feel this out of this little gadget, it just makes it feel that much more professional. And it does sound a bit silly, but to me, it does feel like it's really worth something when you can tell that the product is doing some work. It is definitely a terrific sound enhancer. So when I was comparing it between the iPad and itself, the iPad sits very thinly, very plainly in the distance. Even if you crank the volume on the iPad, it doesn't drive the earphones as well as this the Shanling does. This certainly has a better amping chip and definitely a better DAC in it. So if you do want to sort of unlock the full potential of your IEMs or earphones, I'm sure this can also drive low resistance headphones pretty well. If you do want slightly better sound and you don't have a separate DAC amp to drive your earphones or headphones, it is worthwhile considering this just for a better listening experience. Now, there are many DAC amps out there in the market and some of them can get frightfully expensive, but this one I think is truly value for money. So at the time of recording this video, these do have an MRP of about 4,999, but they are being sold for 3,999 on headphonezone.in. And if you would like to add this to your equipment to make your earphones or headphones sound a bit better, I am leaving a link down below that has been provided by Headphone Zone. So if you stay this long, I do presume you like the content on my channel, and if you would like to support it, I'm sure you know exactly how to. And of course, thank you for tuning into Paul's POV for some sound advice.